Good afternoon. This is Penelope Flynn, co host and moderator of this wonderful Otherhood show with our Blerdsassins Next Door, including James, Otto, Nikki, Sonia. They're all here today to discuss, of course, Black History Month. And today we're going to be discussing our sports and entertainment people. And before we do, we're going to talk a little about the weather. Since James is top center, let us know how the weather is going up there in New York City.
Actually, it's kind of warm. It's 40 degrees and it's cloudy outside.
That's cold.
Now, I was going
Yes.
to say it's not exactly warm, but we'll consider the source.
Okay.
And for me, it's kind of warm.
I'm glad you're enjoying that, going out there in your shirt sleeves, right?
Everybody chill out.
Okay, there we go. Here we go. So no snow expected. Is it going to be going back up or down? What is the forecast?
No, 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 no snow. We're gonna get some rain in the coming days, according to the weather people.
Well, that's good. Rain is good. I mean, unless it's like that time y'all get all that rain and it filled the subways and caused
Now,
people to
rain
stop.
is
We don't want that.
rain.
That
No, rain is not good for me because I hate carrying umbrellas.
okay. And why is this?
Because half the time I either lose them or I misplace them.
Okay,
You
well
should
that'll
do.
do
You
it.
should do. You should do
That will do it.
what my mom did to me. Like dress me up in one of those yellow slickers with the rubber boots on, and this look like a Morton Salt kid on the thing, and
Hmm.
you never have to worry about umbrellas.
Hello.
Yeah,
Well,
because you had the one with the what do you call it? The visor on it, right? Raincoat.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I hear
well,
you, Nikki.
news flash. I don't use, I don't dress looking like a banana, but I do put
Oh my
on a
goodness.
raincoat. But
Yeah, slicker. I'm talking about slicker, man. I'm not talking about a raincoat.
I mean, to most people, they think the same thing when they see a little Morton Salt child wearing his little thing. You call it a slicker. Some of us call it a raincoat.
Raincoat.
Yeah.
Well,
okay,
then I'm.
moving right along.
Okay, okay. And Sonia, how is the weather further north up there with you?
We're actually at a balmy 35 right now.
That's
We.
cold too.
That
Feels
sounds
like
pretty good.
28, but hey, it
Feels
was
like
like,
28.
yeah, but it
Okay, you
was,
could have led with that.
minus something like a few days ago.
Really?
Yeah,
So,
you're in good shape.
and it's supposed to it's supposed to break 50 on Friday and then start tumbling back down.
Back down to what?
20s.
Mm,
So
okay.
we're enjoying it while we can.
Yep, I would suggest that for you. Enjoy
Turn
that
down
while
to
you can.
what?
What?
We're undigging cars and all that,
I'm happy.
letting the dogs romp while there's sunshine.
That's
It's too
good.
cold. It's too
Because
cold.
Wednesday it's supposed to snow again and then get hot again
Wow.
and then start
Well,
going back down.
but if it
Oh,
snows, it's not going to stick because it hasn't gotten that cold.
Why, I don't know. Lake effect snow can do anything it wants.
Okay, we'll see what happens. All right, Nikki, how is it there in the sunny South Florida? Is it indeed sunny?
it is sunny and it is 82 degrees.
Wow.
And I'm enjoying it. I'm in my room with my fan on and everything.
And she,
Wow.
and she
I'm
wasn't talking
ready.
like that
My
last week,
sister's
though.
here from
No, she was not.
Atlanta, and she and her two kids, Michelle, took the kids to the beach. They couldn't get in the water though because they had a purple flag and a red flag out.
Really? What's going on?
The what you call it?
Red
the
tide?
rip the rip currents and
Ooh.
what's the other thing? Jellyfish in the water.
Ooh. Well, yeah, you don't want to be out in
You
that.
know what?
Yeah, so
That
they
sound
went for a
lame.
few minutes and
What do you mean
That
now,
sound
sounds lame?
that sound lame because
huh?
in New York they closed the beach and they said, "Oh, there's a
What'd you
high
say,
tide of
Penelope?
needles, like drug, like
Okay.
medical
I couldn't hear
waste.
you. I got turned off for a minute.
It's like medical waste or something." Then we don't go to the beach. But
Yeah, if the water is
jellyfish,
medical waste, they won't go.
yeah, but
Uh-uh.
jellyfish ain't stopping
No.
us, man.
So they're on their way to Palm Beach now. They're probably there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, visiting her mother-in-law.
I mean, how long are you gonna stay?
Oh, they're gonna leave here Tuesday sometime.
And then go back up to Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
But that's nice. Except for are they on some sort of holiday?
Yeah. They're out for school, out of school until Wednesday.
And why is that?
You know, I was so happy and excited that they're here. I forgot to ask her.
Okay. Well, all right, great.
Well, President's Day is tomorrow,
Right, right.
which counts from Monday. I don't know what the deal is with Tuesday. Maybe it's another off day, but tomorrow is a federal
What's the
holiday.
weather like with Otto when you're ready?
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna tell us. How's it going?
Perfect.
Oh,
Couldn't be
this week.
better.
Oh no, this for me the weather has been really funky.
Well, you know
Because
what though, no, Penelope,
uh-huh.
you asked me how the weather was.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
please, yeah.
Go ahead. Talk about
So
yours.
it's perfect. Yesterday for Valentine's Day, it was torrential downpour, which I really
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
liked. I liked it. And then today is a little overcast and rainy. It's about 70 degrees. Ah, it's beautiful, baby.
Yeah, but yesterday wasn't so great because again, torrential downpour, and we were out in it. So I did not like that at all. We had to go to the store to buy, things for our supposed Valentine's celebration. And when we got there, we're almost done, getting ready to leave, and the lights went out
where?
in the store.
Oh man, what store were you at?
We're at a Sam's Club, so the lights went out.
See, that's why shouldn't be shopping at Sam's.
You're
That's
probably
why.
right about that.
Mm-hmm. Should have gone to Costco.
We're going to, but they didn't have what we
The lights
wanted.
were out too.
You
And it
don't
made
know
no difference.
stuff.
Uh,
It's like
hey,
Stuff.
people down here don't know how to experience a blackout. It's like, oh, did somebody scream? Somebody
Yeah,
started
this is
screaming. It's
screaming.
like, come on, man, let's
Calm
go.
down. It's just a
Let me get out
blackout.
of this.
so,
And then
so,
they're
so.
saying it was hard to get checked out because if you're doing the what is that thing we do? Scan and go. Well, they're not able to,
No,
pick up.
because the power's out.
But they have a handhelds. It's like, aren't y'all
Mm-mm-mm.
connected to the system in a way other than just being on the what you call it scan and go thing? Being
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
caught the system.
But
So obviously we're not.
if the power's gone, the internet's gone too.
And so I was hoping they
Yeah.
have their own, what separate, like you have on your phone. It's connected separately
That would make too
from it.
much sense for have a
Yeah,
corporate-wide hotspot.
yeah. So what they did was, as we went out, they made us turn to the page on our receipt that showed the actual items that we purchased, and so they checked it against the basket
Mm-hmm.
and moved on. But this one guy who was in line, and there were two lines. One woman from the first line went to the second line to try to help her with some guy's, order or something was going on. Man, this guy was just acting the fool.
What'd he
I mean,
do?
why are you going in that line? You need to have more than one line. So we do have two lines. Well, how come everybody's only helping people in that line? Nobody's helping people in this line. And I'm telling you, Otto's like, look, we need to get the hell up out of here because the guy on the door, the security guy, he got a gun on his hip. I don't know what this guy back here's got on his hip, but I got to say, I'm gonna get out of here before anything goes off. He's like, hurry up,
Mm-hmm.
get the heck up out of here.
Yeah.
It was crazy, crazy.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
People don't know how to act.
No, they don't.
Yeah, but we, of course, since we are here now, you know that we did survive and we got out, but that rain was ridiculous. I mean, the little time that we were inside the store and came out, I mean, you're walking out there and your shoes are getting soaked because so much rain, such a short amount of time. There's puddles and stuff.
Mm-mm-mm.
It was really, really bad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It was. It wasn't like that here in Fort Lauderdale at
yeah, I
all.
know you all got the good stuff.
And they can
Yeah.
turn off your fan or something.
I ain't turning nothing off. It's
Cause
hot
it's
in here.
noisy.
I
I'm
don't hear it.
sorry. You gotta
I
deal
hear it.
with it. Deal with it.
Anybody else hear it?
I'm gonna mute her
No,
ass.
you just mad because it's not nice and
It
82
sounds like hell. It
degrees
sounds
there.
like a helicopter.
It don't sound like no helicopter.
You know, normally we go off topic, but I see today we're not even going to get on
Okay,
topic.
okay, okay,
Oh,
okay.
oh,
Here
okay,
we
all
go.
right, right, right.
So
Okay,
let's get
you're right.
started.
You're right. Okay.
The topic.
Turn that
I mean, I
dead
think, and
thing.
it's an interesting topic because I know one of the things that you used to say, James, is that most of the focus that we gave regarding our this time of year, Black History Month, a lot of it focused on athletes and
Right,
entertainers, but
right.
we don't want to neglect the fact that many of our athletes and entertainers actually were the first to do things or had done things that were, pretty remarkable, and not to leave them out of the discussion.
No,
Um,
I said last week that you know we should kind of bring Black History Month back to a more broader,
hmm
you know, celebration. Because at one time we celebrated scientists and inventors and politicians and also athletes and entertainers, but maybe it's a generational thing where we've kind of narrowed it down to mainly entertainers and sports figures.
right.
But you know, regardless of that, it's the fact still remains that in the world of sports and entertainment, we have to shine a light, give ode to, or celebrate, athletes and entertainers. And here's the thing. God bless him. Everybody talks about Jackie Robinson, right?
hmm
But a lot of people don't know that there were black athletes, baseball players before him that really didn't get their due.
hmm
In fact, because of two black baseball players, if it hadn't have been for what happened to them, you wouldn't have a Jack Robinson. And the players are, I believe, Fleetwood Walker and Moses Walker. They were black professional baseball players in the 19th century. I think they played for a pro team in maybe Minnesota. And what happened was there was a white baseball player on the Chicago White Stockings, which they later became, believe it or not, the Chicago Cubs, named Cap Anson. He's in the Hall of Fame. And what happened was when the Walkers team were getting ready to play the White Stockings, Cap Anson said he pulled all his players off of the field,
hmm
and he said we're not gonna play them because you got two Negroes on the team. And being that he was kind of like the hit wise, he was like the Pete Rose of his day. And he brought people into the park with his hidden prowess and all of that there. So finally, the National League came up with a rule that no black players will play on any of their teams.
hmm
And I think I could be wrong, but I think one of the players that was upset about that new rule back then was Branch Rickey. He was a professional baseball player back then in the late 1800s. So the first chance he got when he became a executive, I think he bounced from the Cardinals to the then to the Dodgers. He made it his business to get a black, get black players
hmm
into baseball.
Wow.
Yeah, and before that, you had it in between that with the Walkers and Jackie Robinson. You had a situation with the New York Giants where uh what is his name? McGraw, John McGraw, the manager, he tried to sneak black players onto the Giants. And what he did was he told two players, he said, listen, if anybody comes up to you, just speak gibberish.
Hmm.
Okay, even or make like you don't understand English. So he was
Mhm.
trying to pass one off, I think, as Cuban and the other off as Native American.
Hmm.
And also at the time, he had a pitching coach. A lot of people don't notice. He had a pitching coach who was a black man named Rube Foster. Okay. And he felt so bad that he couldn't get Rube Foster onto the Giants that he made him a pitching coach.
Hmm.
But either way, the upshot of all of that was he got caught, and I think the commission was Kennesaw Mountain Landis. He said, "No, you gotta get them off the team, or else."
Well, how'd they
You know,
find out?
I think somebody might have overheard one of the. Excuse me. What I think somebody might have overheard one of the players.
Hmm.
You know, it's, the player must have thought that nobody was around, and then he was like,
Mhm.
listen, I'm going down to get a beer or something like that. And somebody, yeah,
Oh,
so I said, aha,
he's speaking English. You're
Yeah.
not Spanish or
So
native.
yeah, we have to give credit
Absolutely.
to the Walker brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just like we have to give credit to a gentleman, I forget his first name. His last name was Willis, and he played football for the Akron Pros,
Hmm.
and he was the first black football player.
Really?
Yeah, he was the first black football player
Acknowledged.
acknowledged, and I think he got frozen out too because other teams didn't want to play with him on the field. Um, you had oh God, I can't remember his name, but you had a gentleman up in Canada. His family migrated from Jamaica to Canada, and he just fell in love with the game of hockey. I can't remember his name, and he actually was very good up in Ottawa playing hockey, and to the point where the New York Rangers asked him to come for a tryout. And he tried out, and they said, "Well, okay, sign, this contract.
Hmm.
You're gonna be a New York Ranger." But then when he looked at the money that was offered, he was like, "Hell, I'm making more money up in Ottawa."
Yeah, I'll
You
get
know,
out of here.
yeah. So it wasn't until Willie O'Ree on the Boston Bruins, he was the first black hockey player. Ironically, Boston of all places too.
Well, yeah, that is ironic.
The
Yeah.
gentleman that he couldn't remember the name of, who was the Akron Pros, his name is Fritz Pollard, and he's
Uh,
also the first black coach in the early
yeah.
NFL.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Very cool. Fritz Pollard.
Yep.
Right. Okay. That was really interesting, James. So going from baseball into hockey and where else you want to go?
Uh, well, right now we need to give props to Bubba Wallace. Okay, he's a black NASCAR driver.
Hmm.
Um, you also have a gentleman by the name Hamilton. He's a black Formula One
Oh yeah, my
racer.
son is like really into him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he is a
You
big
also
fan.
have Wendell Scott, who was the first black driver to win a NASCAR event.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Played
They
by
didn't
Richard
even.
Pryor, didn't he?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, in the
Didn't
film.
get the and they didn't get the award until his family years later, years and years later, made a big fuss and they finally recognized him.
Yeah, yeah, that's a shame. I mean, you shouldn't have to do that after you win, but they don't want to acknowledge your wins.
And this year is the 75th anniversary of the first NBA black NBA players,
Hmm.
and one of them played in New York as New York Nick. Earl Lloyd, Chuck Cooper, and Nat Sweetwater Clifton. Sweetwater played for New York Knicks,
Hmm.
and so 75 seasons ago, these are the first black NBA players.
Wow. And
And
it seems,
you could see them. And the thing is, you remember that old Saturday Night Live skit where they say, "What if Michael Jordan was the first black
yeah,
NBA player?"
yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so when these guys started to play basketball 75 years ago, 75 seasons ago, 75 years ago, you can see the difference in their game as compared to the white players. They're just more fluid. They change. They literally change the game. And then of course, when you have other black players come in to the league, like the Wilt Chamberlains of the world and people like that, they also changed the rules. A lot of the things you see today didn't exist prior to black players playing in the game. You didn't have a lane. There couldn't be a lane violation. 3-point line, of course, wasn't there. They put that there as sort of affirmative action for white players. 3-second rule, being in the lane for 3 seconds. So a bunch of rules were implemented as a result of the black NBA player.
Yeah, it's like what you call it, handicapping.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because the height of the goal remained the same, but I think back before these players came into the league, no one ever thought of just jumping up and throwing it down. It's like the ball guy has to go in the basket, but no one said that you couldn't jump up to reach 10 feet, just throw it and just jam
Yeah,
it
yeah.
through.
Slam dunk
So
was a
yeah,
what?
so right. Which, by the way, the dunk contest I saw yesterday was the worst slam dunk contest I've ever seen. Um, but anyway, it's like the goal is to make the goal, is to get the
The
basket
ball in the
and
basket,
ball in the
right?
basket. But all the new innovations, the way the ball is handled, the way the offenses are run, crossover dribble, behind the back passes, all those things are introduced by black ball players.
Things that make it fun.
Yeah, to watch.
Well, I mean, the basketball as it originally was, it was very slow because once you made a basket, they had to stop the game. Somebody had to get a ladder and climb up and get the ball out of the peach basket.
Really?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch that. I mean, can you imagine having a there was a guy in I think in late middle to late 70s, Michael Thompson, who played for the Denver Nuggets. And the legend was that Thompson, his coach, would put like money on top of the backboard. He would jump up and get that money off that backboard. That's how high his vertical leap was.
You know what? You put that money up in the back of the backboard. I go up there and get it.
Yeah, you with a
There you
ladder,
go.
I'm sure. Yeah, or
Anyway,
these guys with trampolines or something. But
yeah,
it's
that's right. Any kind of
but
way, I'm up there, man.
but it's more than raw athleticism that changed the game. It's the fact that it's like jazz to me. It's like once you know the notes,
Hmm.
and then you get to improvise, and so that improvisational style is seen on a regular basis in a game of basketball. It's seen in other sports as well, but I think basketball embodies the improvisational spirit of the black athlete.
Uh-huh. Agreed. Agreed.
So 75 years ago, the first three black ball players started in the NBA.
All right. And they're actually celebrating that this Black History Month. So if you are watching any of the NBA games, you will notice that they are referencing it, you know, in most of the games.
Do you think that's why they didn't have that white guy from the G League in that slam dunk contest?
I don't know. It is a possibility.
Well, another sport that one wouldn't know now that you had a lot of black athletes in this sport was horse racing. Okay, back in the 19th century and at the turn of the 20th century, the majority of jockeys were black.
Yeah, that's what I understand. And did that become a shameful thing? Because you see all these back in the day, these
Lawn
so-called
jockeys.
lawn. Yeah, so that did that become a occupation that black people became ashamed of
No,
being part of?
I don't think it was we because we were ashamed of it. Um, I think that see we got to understand that with certain sports, right? Certain sports are a stepping stone for certain groups to kind of raise themselves up. And at the time, the quickest way for African American of a certain size to make money was as a jockey. Just like there was a time when if you was certain had certain abilities, you went into boxing.
Hmm.
Okay, just like at one point up until I would say maybe the beginning of the 90s, okay, it was baseball. Okay. Yeah, I could actually remember every spring, Ebony magazine would have a special feature, a spring training feature in Ebony where they would show you a list of black players on every major league team.
Hmm.
You know, now you don't see that because it's kind of hard pressed. You're hard pressed to see African Americans in baseball.
Hmm.
You know,
I
and,
think
and
they'll be encouraged, to go in the way of the quick money
yeah, yeah,
things like basketball and
hmm
football, where you have a very low uh, career um, term. Is they're only a few years and then move on. And if you have not made a name for yourself, you're kind of screwed.
yeah, yeah. And see with basketball these days, it costs. I mean, it costs less money. You can go to the sporting goods store and buy a basketball, and you're pretty much set.
Hmm.
While if you go to buy baseball equipment costs money these days.
Yeah, it sure does. And
You
if your
know,
school doesn't support that, then you're kind of in a bad way. Because if your public schools, your uniforms and bats and balls and gloves, and you can do that. But if your public schools are not supporting those sports, then no, it's
yeah,
going to be a rough road to hoe if you want to play ball. You have to get into one of those uh, community leagues.
e- exactly. And now they have these days you don't hardly even find community leagues. What I found out is that you have what they call summer tour leagues,
Mm,
and these are kids that their parents pay a hell of a lot of money so they could go on the road and play baseball.
really?
Yeah, this is how they do it in the more affluent parts of the country. You know, is literally, it's hard. You be hard to press. You be hard pressed to find. Literally, like baseball try has been trying in New York City to still cultivate kids in the inner city to play baseball, but again, the times they've changed.
It's
And
difficult
I
without
think
equipment and locations and to
a lot of
play, you
mhm.
know.
Some of the Major League Baseball teams I know down here, they have baseball academies, and I spoke to some coaches, and they just told me point blank. I think they're wrong, but this is what they say. They said the kids aren't interested in playing baseball. They don't want to play baseball. They don't want to know from baseball. They just focus on basketball, as you said, Penelope, basketball and football. And so, the baseball academy is there. It's run by the Major League Ball Club. The fields are there. The materials are there. Everything is there, but
Well,
the young black kids aren't interested in the game.
and a good part of that is perception too. Okay, if back in the day you saw if you had a child sitting in front of the TV and they were playing around the same time, if he's seeing Michael Jordan doing all of that and a bag of chips on the basketball court, and then he sees somebody like Ken Griffey Jr. just come up to the plate and wait for for the right pitch to hit, it's more exciting to watch Michael Jordan. See, you're more thrilled with watching that. Baseball, that's it's no accident. That's why baseball had the nickname the national pastime because it was a very laid back game. You went, you got your peanuts and cracker jacks, and you
Hmm.
just sat back in the ballpark and you wait for Larry Doby or Jackie Robinson to come up the bat. No big deal. So it's that, and also technology. Kids get on Xbox, PlayStation,
Hmm.
and in fact, I would say Xbox and PlayStation has also pulled kids away from all major sports. Why should I go outside and play base? Like back in the day, we used to go up to James Monroe High School and play baseball and softball. These days, no kids want to go up on a Saturday morning and sneak into James Monroe ball field and play baseball. That's come on, no kids don't want to do that.
I think, and also I think all of that, and I think that baseball, Jackie Robinson is very important to baseball. I mean, his imprint, his impact is reflected in so many different ways. There's a story that told about Earl Warren when he was the governor of California, and how he met Jackie Robinson, and because Jackie went to college there, and a lot of his Earl Warren's he was a Republican, but a lot of his the way that he looked at society was influenced by his interactions with Jackie Robinson, and so you may not have the Brown v. Board and a lot of the other cases that the Warren Court put into place because Robinson came into the Dodgers in 1947 and Brown v. Board was 1954.
Hmm.
And so, what you have is that you have a lot of, especially in places like New York City, the interaction between the city and its athletes that represent the city is unlike any other that I'm aware of. They're black athletes, they're white athletes, but a lot of black athletes, your money's no good.
Hmm.
I mean, Jackie Robinson had chock full of nut franchises, uh, different business opportunities. You have black ball players even today, basketball player. You play for the Knicks. John Starks, for instance, never won a championship, but his money's no good. Patrick Ewing's money is no good. And so, that dynamic, that barrier that Jackie Robinson broke, and taking on not only just playing ball, but taking on the kind of nasty vitriol that was
Hmm.
tossed to him. I don't know if I would be capable of listening to that stuff and not reacting in a physical way. So a lot of that. a lot of that we have to thank someone like Jackie Robinson from doing that, because one of the things that they say, I remember reading, one of the reasons they wanted didn't want Jackie Robinson or black people to play in the major leagues is because they thought was, white kids would never buy a jersey. They wouldn't want to see a black ball player. They couldn't resonate. They couldn't relate
Mm-hmm.
to a black ball player. It was absolutely turned out to be. They knew it was false, and it turned out, actually to be false. It was a false thing.
Well,
There's another reason not to do it.
a couple of things with that. Okay. Well, in New York City, it's like this. No matter who you are, if you win a championship or you did the right thing
Mm-hmm.
in New York City, yeah, your money's no good. You can eat anywhere you want. It's business opportunities. Right now, if you listen to the Knick games here in New York City, you'll hear John Starks talk about his car dealerships.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Now with what Jackie Robinson went through, okay, it's it's a known fact that when Branch Rickey went to the league and let them know that he was gonna do what he's gonna do, they said, okay, let's take a vote. Out of all the National League teams that voted, they all except for the Dodgers voted in favor of Jackie Robinson coming into the
Hmm.
league. Okay, even the New York Giants, okay, they were set against it, and this is the team, like I said, with John McGraw trying to get black players on the team. They even voted against it,
Hmm.
and then it was a case of some teams begrudgingly went along with integration. Some teams didn't. Um, with the Chicago White Sox, it was kind of like, well, let's check this box. Check all the boxes, and they went and got Minnie Minoso from Cuba, and they figured they would be cute. Where if somebody said, "Oh well, why y'all got this Manny Minoso on the team integrating," they would say, "Oh well, he's not exactly black; he's Cuban."
Hmm.
See, and then it's a known fact that the three teams that finally integrated their teams were the Yankees, the Phillies, and the Red Sox.
Hmm.
You know, and with the Yankees, that was all George Weiss, the general manager. That was his doing because one day in a drunken rant, he said, "I'll never have a Negro," and
Hmm.
I'm using the word Negro because he used that
Yeah.
word. He said, "I never have a Negro play for you, New York Yankees," and that's why they had Vic Powers sit in the minor leagues all that time. Vic Powers was supposed to be the first black New York Yankee, but every season they like, okay, we're going north, and Vic is like, well, am I on the team? Ah, wait until next year.
Hmm.
Well, I think
Wait.
that's why the Dodgers are a lot of black. Oh, of course, your older black people like my grandfather and people his generation and the generation before my mother's generation. They absolutely loved the Dodgers, even when they left and went to Los Angeles. But I think that it was really important that Jackie Robinson be on the Dodgers, be on a high profile team. I don't think that it would have the same impact if he was in Cleveland or some other city. I think it was really important that he be on a high profile team, and I think that people had to get used to him seeing that black face on that team and seeing him doing the things, seeing him on the stage, same stage
Hmm.
as the New York Yankees, seeing him steal home,
Yes.
against Yogi Berra, seeing that same thing, seeing him play the game, you know. That was important because Americans are juvenile in their mind. You know, they ha- they, they can't, you know, conceptualize things without, you know, seeing them in concrete terms. And I think that Jackie Robinson is so important. But you know, one of the things like James said, you know, athletes and entertainers, athletes and entertainers are not all created equally. Like, for instance, Kobe Bryant is black, right?
Hmm.
But he wouldn't be part of my, you know, whatever he did or didn't do. That's him. He would be part of my Black History Month acknowledgement. But
Right.
someone like Bill Russell would be, you know, someone of that ilk because they broke barriers. You know, they face racism, hate head on, and they change things. You know, it's the same thing with, you know, boxers. You know, you could talk about black boxers, as James once again said. You know, boxing was like a, you know, a way for certain people to climb society. You know, climb out of their
Hmm.
poverty. But not all block boxers are created equally. So you have, you know, someone like a Cassius Clay who became a Muhammad Ali. That's a Black History Month celebration because the way that he spoke and what he did, you know, growing up listening to him, I never heard anyone, a black man, speak like that. Just so in your face to white racism. It was a shock to white people, a shock to the system, and it made me very proud. It was fantastic to hear someone say that, you know, tell black women, hey, you know what? You don't need all that makeup. You're pretty as you are.
Hmm.
You know, you know, say that, you know, I'm not going to Viet Cong and going to Vietnam. Those brown people, they never called me the N word. You know,
Hmm.
it's just a new way of thinking. You know what I mean? A new way of addressing authority, a new way of addressing racism in a very bold way. I think it emboldened a lot of us.
Yeah, because previous to that, people were very conditional with how they spoke. Have to use conditional language
Right. They had to, yeah,
or no
soft
language
stuff.
at all or none at
Right.
all.
Right. Right. And I think that bold language like that, the saying, no, you're wrong. That's absolutely incorrect. Or thinking internationally, he's right. Though people never call me N word. They don't. Why we fighting these brown people like that? You know,
Hmm.
why are we doing these things? And so, and understand all these people that we talk about, they have feet of clay. Not one of them don't have feet of clay. And we could talk about things they did or things they should not have done or things they should have said. But you know, we take them as they are. They should be
Right.
celebrated. I think for the context in which they are. You know, like I said, not every athlete, not every boxer, not every entertainer is should be celebrated simply because they're
They made money,
entertainer.
and they
Right,
because they made money.
right, right.
No,
That's what it is.
Well, I think what it is the people that should be celebrated are the people I said a couple of podcasts ago. These are people that metaphorically took the bullet for everybody else,
Right.
or they suffered for their craft,
Hmm.
so to speak. Um, you had we don't talk too much about Larry Doby. You know, he was the first black player in the American League in '48,
Hmm.
and he caught help.
But let
You
me
know,
ask you this. Let me ask you this. Conceptually, do you think his Larry Doby, who you know, I'm a baseball fan, so I know about him. Larry Doby would have had a higher profile if he was in one of the a team on one of the major cities as opposed to being in Cleveland.
no, well, the see with New York, okay, when
Not necessarily
Jackie,
New York, but any major city, any of the, you know, like, you know, New York or L.A. or, you know,
okay, well, right,
D.C. or yeah.
no, well, right there, you have to disqualify Los Angeles because 1947 they didn't even have a major league team out there. That was the Pacific Coast League.
Right, right. Well, I'm just saying
You know,
any major city with a major population, Cleveland gets a lot of knocks, right? Cleveland does.
Hmm.
It's not even the second city or the third city. You
Well,
know,
it's yeah,
or if you
it's
had been in Boston, let's say, or a high profile city, but that would Dolby have gotten more people would be talking more about them.
no. Well, see, here's the thing with Dobie. The only reason I believe that he broke the color barrier with the Cleveland Indians is because I believe Bill Veeck at the time was the owner of the Cleveland Indians. So had it been another owner, I don't think I don't think would happen. And see, what you're saying is correct when you look at it from this angle. From about 1947 to
Hmm.
1957, New York was the crown jewel of baseball. Okay, you had the three teams: the Dodgers, the Giants, the Yankees, vying for the pennant and that World Series ring during that time. So that was, yes, that was high profile. I don't. Well, we can scratch Philadelphia and Boston off of the list because as far as the black player went, they weren't feeling it at the time.
But
You
it's just the
know.
high profileness of. I mean, do you think Cassius people would listen to Cassius Clay as much if he was not the heavyweight champion as opposed to a bantamweight or a flyweight? It's just that the heavyweight champion back then at that time carried so much cachet. It had so
Yeah.
much. It's the heavyweight champion of the world. Back in the day, everyone knew who the heavyweight champion of the world
Yeah.
was, and
Yeah.
so it meant something, right? It meant something, and
No.
so
Yeah.
so
It meant something. Just like playing baseball in New York meant something.
yeah, it meant
So,
something,
and,
especially the
and
white society. I mean, the Great White Hope is the Jack Johnson
yeah,
thing with they wanted a white man to be the heavyweight champion of the world,
yeah.
and this black man was now the heavyweight champion of the world.
Well, it
So
was
it meant a lot to black. It meant a lot to white American men, especially.
and that's another thing. We forget about the black heavyweights in between Joe Louis and Jack Johnson. You had Jack Armstrong,
Hmm.
and you also had, I forget his first name, Blackburn. Okay, who I think ended up being one of Joe Louis's cornermen. You know, um, and then we also got to understand it was important with Jackie in the fact that New York at the time was the media capital of the world, the fourth estate, so to speak.
Hmm.
And also this is where television was based at until the late 50s, when it moved out west and whatnot there. So yeah, it's
It just depends. I mean, but Cassius Clay defeated Sonny Liston, who was a black man.
right.
Sonny Liston was the heavyweight champion of the world. You wouldn't find
Hmm.
Sonny. You wouldn't find Sonny on any Black History Month calendar. Okay, you wouldn't find him there because Sonny didn't move the needle.
No.
No, I just
Cassius Clay, Cassius Clay, number one moved the needle, and then Cassius Clay becoming Muhammad Ali definitely didn't move the needle.
Yeah, he broke the mold, and then
well, I mean, who would expect Sonny Liston to move the needle? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Sonny Liston had a body count on him, and I don't mean in the ring killing somebody.
Yeah, but he didn't. I mean, as far as if you're a young black boy, let's say you're growing up, and the age of whatever you were when Muhammad Ali was doing his thing at the height when he defeated George Foreman or something like that. And so you're watching that, you know, the impact on society that Sonny had, regardless of whatever he did for the Philadelphia mob, whatever he did, Sonny was a company man, so to speak. Okay, and a lot of the boxers and black or white or otherwise are company men, but you have some people are just they seize history at the time that they're in history. I mean, they're in history and they seize history. Jackie Robinson is more than a black baseball player. Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay is more than a black fighter. Sweetwater Clifton is more than a NBA basketball player. Jim Brown is more than a black football player. They're people who grab the time that they're in, and they really move the needle, and they get to me, they get to be on the Black History Month calendar. They get to be in the Black History Month
Well, well,
discussion.
well. This is what I'm saying. These are people that are game changers.
Exactly.
Okay, they're people that are game changers. Then you also have people that were game changers that didn't get the recognition that they did and suffered for their craft, so to speak.
Hmm.
Okay, I think you guys hear me mention mention Philippa Schuyler.
Right.
Okay, she now mind you, her politics. I I'm totally opposite would be opposite of her politics and whatnot, but at the time of her death, she was coming around because she had spoke with people like Stokely Carmichael. She was investigating maltreatment of GIs in Vietnam,
Hmm.
and also she was a phenomenal concert pianist, which I say she suffered for her craft because the white classical world didn't want her, and black folk. It's not that we didn't want her, but it's just that that was coming up during the time of the '60s freestyle jazz. People like Nina Simone. Um,
Yeah, these are game changers. I mean, Althea Gibson, as
right.
opposed to Venus and Serena Williams.
Hmm.
Who would be on the who would make the calendar? Who would make the calendar? Would it be Althea? To my mind, definitely be Althea Gibson. Venus and Serena, kind of maybe. I don't know.
No,
Uh,
I would say I would have to split the calendar photo in half and have the Williams sister on one side and
Hmm.
Althea on the other. The reason why I
I say
say
I
the
disagree with you on that. I would just have Althea, and to me,
well,
Althea would be there,
well,
without question, be there.
well, to me, it's one of those you had to be there because I worked the U.S. Open that year that Venus played Serena. Okay, and you had Diana Ross sing the national anthem, and it was just an unbelievable night. It was a historic night. You know, I almost got fired. Okay, because I kept running because they had me as sort of like a half concierge bouncer at an elevator, the celebrities elevator. And in between sets, I would run and see what was going on and maybe crank my neck
Hmm.
to see what was going on. It was just a phenomenal night, and also the fact that, and sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes Serena kind of rubs me a little bit the wrong way, but at the same time, she during her career, and she might be coming back out here, she caught hell.
Yeah.
She caught hell. She was caught just like this whole thing with the Obamas being called primates. She was
Yeah.
called.
I mean,
She,
Yeah, but
those little girls had to go. I mean, they were girls. You know, they
yeah,
were not grown women. They were little
yeah,
girls
yeah. But
trying to
my
put up
thing,
with these people's
yeah, yeah,
nastiness.
yeah, and so did Thea Gibson. But I think Venus and Serena, in my mind, are different in that their influence on the game, not necessarily on society, but on the game. I think you see more um, um, black women playing tennis now
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
both because of Venus and Serena. Now, Thea Gibson may have a larger impact on society, and that's why, to me, she would get the nod to be on the Black History calendar. I'm not trying to, make
No,
make
no,
sure,
no,
but I'm saying Thea Gibson is,
no.
she's old timey. Nobody mentions her name anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, see, with and we got to understand there was also two sisters that I think predated Althea Gibson that were tennis pros too. No, Althea Gibson, she was another person that suffered for her craft.
Hmm.
Okay, the only problem I would have, like I said, she belongs on the calendar right there with the Williams sisters, no
I
doubt.
Hmm.
think I think she should be before the Williams sisters. I think somebody like Marian Anderson, right, who's a
Absolutely.
entertainer,
Right. Yeah.
move the needle in society, not just singing. And someone
Yeah.
says it's great that some person says, I can do that now. I know that I can sing opera now.
Yeah.
I could
Well,
be a different. I don't have to be white to sing opera. That's good in and of itself. But to
and
move the needle, societal needle,
well,
is a little bit different.
well.
But I think that Venus and Serena did
No, I think they
because,
did.
yeah, I think they did because if you watch them play, again, like I said, these are girls having to go up against so much negativity, horror that these people tried to, to do to them. I mean, they're girls, and to be so great at what they did, and just to be themselves. And in fact, because Venus was a little more quiet, Serena was
Yeah.
not, and the fact that she didn't feel that she had to get out there and be humble and contrite, even when Venus beat the I can't remember the girl from Austria, I guess it was where she was from. I cannot remember her name,
Uh huh.
but she was a champion for such a long
Shapova,
time.
what is
No,
something like that?
before her, and she was playing her, and she was doing well, and then she started to lose steam, and then of course, and the people are clapping and stuff, so happy, and she said to herself, "Wait a minute, I worked hard, I deserve to win," and that's when she just turned it on and she won, and that I think was the last time that player played because she was saying that what would happen is that you'd have Venus and Serena, and they were either going to if they were not playing each other, that means they're going to play you. And if you played Venus and you beat her, the next round you're going to have to play Serena. You will not beat her. Or if you beat Serena in one round, the next round comes, you will not beat Venus. So basically, you end up having to take them both back to back, and the first one, whichever one you got, is going to wear you down, and the second one was going to beat you.
But Penelope, what in society changed? What
I think the
we
thing in society that really changed is the concept that these young women, black women, play tennis. They don't have to be docile. They don't have to be a person that, NAACP or anybody says we put our imprimatur on them. They are themselves. They were strong. They were focused. They did the work, and showing basically that any young black girl that does the work can do this. We straight out of Compton. Any, black girl that does the work can do this. It is no longer a space only for, white women or delicate white women, as they, put it before. They call these women, they're apes or, whatever they want to call negative things, but they didn't stop playing. And then it changed the way that tennis players look because after that, the tennis players were like Martina Navratilova. They were bigger, they were stronger, you know. And I remember Martina Navratilova saying that, she watched them play and said, "Well, I could beat them," you know, and at my best, she said. But the problem is, they're not even yet at their best.
Yeah, I met her too, Martina.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So, um,
Okay. So
again,
and they also changed the look of tennis because before that, everybody had to be in all white and all
Hmm.
frilly. And when
Frills.
they
Yes,
started wearing their
exactly.
colors and they took the thing, people got mad and they're like, "Well, why? Why do
Yeah,
we have to be in all white?"
but
yeah.
what about outside of tennis? So I mean, it's kind of a stupid criticism, right? It's kind of stupid criticism, but you have someone like Cassius Clay, Ali, right? He goes into the, he's touching the nations of Islam. He's touching the anti-war movement. So that's outside of boxing. You
Okay,
could talk to you could talk.
The Williams sisters are outside showing you can also be an entrepreneur. You don't have to apologize for being strong in the business world. You don't have to apologize for wanting to be a mother.
Do
You
you really see
just
them that
need to
way?
be. Yeah. Before then, only the men could be the entrepreneurs in sports after they got out.
And not only that, only men could get out there in the court and contradict what's being said by a line judge or something. Said that's wrong. I mean, men were allowed to do it. Serena caught hell doing the same thing that male tennis players did all the time, and were lauded for. You know,
But is it the same as a? I know it's not the same. It's not the same. But
and it's not the same, and it's not living
Mary
in the same.
Anderson.
But it also is not living in the
mm,
same time. For you to
Right, the
expect
different
somebody,
times.
yeah,
Right,
and
the different times, the different things going on. I mean, it'd be different if Serena of Venus, Serena Williams also said, you know what, we need to get out of Iraq.
yeah,
There's no WMDs. You know what I mean? It's just a, the space that you're in is the space that you're in. You get a lot of people who are on a conservative bend who tell you that just play sports and shut up and just play sports. The lot of the icons that we're talking about, they would have never just shut up and just play and done anything. You really couldn't shut them up, right?
and again, one of the things you have to understand, I say it again, is that starting out in this process, they were girls, and one of the worst things is to not know what's going on, then speaking on it as if you do. So I don't you know look at them and blame them, say, aha, you
Well,
didn't.
I don't blame them. I'm just saying, in my pantheon of people that would be on the Black History Month calendar, or be on the Black History calendar, if I had to choose, I would choose Althea over the Serena, the Williams sisters. James wants to
Mhm.
split. He said he'll split the calendar.
I
No,
would show I would
I
show
would
I would show the range. We went from Althea to now the Williams sisters to, oh, I just forgot her name.
Coco.
Coco, yeah. Show the whole and show the whole range of tennis.
see. Let me tell y'all something. You talk about feet of clay. Like I said, I would put Althea Gibson on my calendar,
Hmm.
but we also kind of overlooked the fact that Althea was coming from a conservative type of view. One of the worst things I ever saw her do
Hmm.
was when she played a slave in the Horse Soldiers, a John Wayne, William Holden movie. Okay, where she played this part of the faithful slave to the point where I think she took a bullet for the plantation owner and all this craziness. And I like,
Yikes.
yeah, I was like, yikes, is this the same woman that I heard about? But I also did know that she had a little singing career too, you
Well,
know.
well, once again, it's Frida Clay. And we talk about, who would be on your pantheon of the calendar, who would be on the Mount Rushmore of Black History Month. Would it be Dorothy Dandridge, or would it be Lola Falana,
Yeah,
or
Lola
would it
Falana is
be or would it be Ruby
fantastic.
would it be Ruby D?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because not all actors and entertainers are created the same. Sammy Davis Jr. Would
Yes,
he be there?
but you
Would
got
he
to
make
think of
it? Would he
somebody
not
like,
make it?
yeah, you think
Yeah.
of people like that who basically kicked the door down with regard to how people, African American people are regarded, and that's
Yeah, I
an
mean,
important
a
thing.
lot of people think of Sammy as a Tom. A lot of people think of Louis Armstrong, Satchmo as a Tom.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
see that's something else we have to factor in is the '60s. The '60s were a time of change,
Hmm.
and it was also a time of rebellion. Okay, you had Muhammad Ali doing his thing, anti-war, threw his gold medal into the river and what. And which, by the way, ironically, his original name, Cassius Clay,
Mhm.
he was named after an abolitionist in
Really?
Kentucky. Yeah,
I did not
yeah.
know
There
that.
was there was a abolitionist by the name of Cassius Clay. Um, Also, somebody that I say was a game changer, and he suffered for his craft, and he just blew the music world away. Is Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
He changed completely the way people looked at the electric guitar. You know, um, the only other person I know before him that was a game changer when it gave the electric guitar is basically Les Paul because he invented the shit.
Yeah, yeah.
um, no, you had like I said, you had Jimi Hendrix. He was a game changer.
He's a game changer, right? It's a
Hmm.
game
Yeah,
changer not only because in that space, people think of the guitar hero being a certain skin color. And
Hmm.
I, and then the other thing is, if you didn't see that awful thing that was supposed to be a alternative to Bad Bunny being on the Super Bowl, you had one of those performers playing the national anthem, trying to play it the way that Hendrix did. Those
Yeah,
no,
those are to me that's a damn game changer. Those are game changing things because it's like I got what you got, I know what you're saying, but I'm looking at it from a different perspective. You
right,
know,
yeah,
right. That I play this, through my
right?
experience,
I could be
how I view
I
the
could be
world.
right. I could be patriotic and everything else. Like Hendrix, he was in the military and everything else. But this is the way I look at it from my perspective.
Right. This is
Okay,
yeah,
how I see the world.
yeah. And
and
and he went on. I think a couple of days after that, and basically said the same thing you're saying on the Dick Cavett show. You know, Dick Cavett asked him, well, what was going on with, the Star Spangled Banner, the way you played it? He said, listen, that's the way I see it.
that's the
He
way you
says it's a
see it,
beautiful thing. And it's funny
and
because
it was beautiful.
it's funny because sitting next to him is Robert Young, Marcus Well, PMD,
Hmm.
and he's trying to figure out.
Like, who is this? What the heck?
Yeah. So yeah, these are game changers. Um, these days I look for people, black people that I think I said a couple of podcasts ago that fly under the radar. A lot of
I'm
people.
looking, and I think that's true. I think that's good also. But I think that I think that's good. But I think also the people that don't get enough recognition. For instance, as far as music is concerned, would Chuck D and would he be on your pantheon, or would it be someone earlier in the hip hop or rap industry? Would it be
No,
someone?
it would be Chuck D.
Hmm.
It would
So
be
these are they're on your they're on your calendar.
Right,
yeah.
So
right.
they're definitely not flying under the radar. Does he get enough recognition? I don't think so either. But
Now, see,
still,
for hip hop, I would put Sylvia Robinson, who co-founded Sugar Hill and was the actual producer behind Rapper's Delight.
Yeah.
Because
I
back
think a
then,
lot of
people
people
were
have
like
started.
women and
A
hard
lot of
hit.
people
Yeah.
have started talking about her
Hmm.
in recent years. I've seen her get a lot more credit
why do you
for
think that
what she
is?
did. I guess because the people that she actually sponsored have a lot more, credibility in the industry, and say this is the person that put us on the road,
And every
on the
time
path.
Queen Latifah gets recognized, she always points out, "Nope, there was Sylvia before me."
Well, you
Yeah.
know, Sylvia Robinson was the game changer going in another direction. Okay, because when she came out with the single "Pillow Talk,"
Oh no, please!
no, it was a game changer.
It
It was
changed. No, what is a dial changer for me? That's what.
Ah,
No,
I'm
it was
sorry, man. What was that? What was game changing about that? The pillow talk.
because at that time you didn't until you had somebody like after her Diana Ross, you didn't have records that were that kind of explicit, so to speak.
I think Donna Summer more than Dinah Ross.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Diana Ross, Donna Summer, yeah.
Hmm.
Diana Summer, because when she came, that was another game changer with
Why is it a game changer though?
because that was the record. It was a very sensual record, and it was basically a record that you did your canoodling to.
Well, the thing is, to me, I'm going to say how I felt about it. As a kid, like I'm like, yeah, I'm like Otto, as a dial changer for me. And I think a lot of it, in my mind, showed the lack of respect that there was, especially for black children, that it should not have
Why
been on the
black
radio.
children?
It
Why
should
black
not have been
children?
on the radio during the time where children are listening to the radio, because this presumption that black children are more sexualized, black girls especially more sexualized than non-black girls. So to put this on, it's like our kids should be listening to this and just kind of either accept it or believe that this is normal. I thought it was highly
What
offensive.
about what about Donna Summer, who basically said that her record was one big long orgasmic sound. I
I
remember
think I
walking down the
agree.
streets of New York and hearing that on the record shops, and it was poured out into the streets of where I lived.
I would say this, that there's a big difference between Pillow Talk and Love to Love You Baby. Love to Love You Baby in the what you call it that they played on the radio was just to sing the "Love to Love You Baby," whatever. But it was not like that Pillow Talk, and not at all. And plus, I guess I was a lot older when Donna Summer came on the scene with "Love to Love You Baby," so it was very different from the way I viewed it. And again, Pillow Talk coming out when I was a child, it should not have been on the radio, not in that form, and not at all. Well, not at all, really.
Well,
Only at nighttime, after dark, maybe, but should not have been played during the day when
well,
children are asleep.
I don't recall it hearing it during
We
the
did. I mean, because I
day.
wasn't around after dark, so it had to be during the
I
day.
heard it all the. It was there all
Yeah,
the time. WWRL and
yeah.
You know,
WBLM. Pillow Talk was there.
I don't know because if you go by that, then it's like a lot of other songs
There are
should
a
have
lot of
been
songs that have a lot of double entendres and stuff.
Well,
That's
right.
one
some
thing.
of them are straightforward, like
Yeah,
maybe pillow talk and sexual healing
yeah. I
and
didn't like
what's
that
it?
either.
There's a bunch of like major. What's that guy name? A major. What's his name? Love won't let me wait. I mean, he got moan.
Uh,
He got a woman moaning.
Yeah, I didn't
And
like that
so,
either.
you know,
Major, what's his name? Major somebody. What's his name?
Penelope turned into a conservative.
No, you know what? I'm no, I'm conservative. I would like you say I am progressive, not permissive. There's certain things that great you do. I mean, adults got the right to do whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do it. But I think that you have to be, cognizant of the fact that, especially in my mind, is that these these records, we call them, pieces of these works of music, were put on stations that they knew catered a lot of times to black families, black
and
children, and they should not have had them on there because, again,
and
we have black. I mean, there's these studies
right.
that they make determinations that 5-year-old white girl would not know as much about sex as a 5-year-old black girl. A 5-year-old girl is a 5-year-old girl. Why is it they impute all the sexualization and adultification on our children? And it needs to stop.
Well, and I think we kind of forget that back then, when you went into a record store, right? You
But I'm not talking
had
about a record store. I'm
no,
talking
but no,
about
but hear me
on the
out,
radio.
please. No, hear me out. I don't know anything about the radio because I don't recall hearing pillow talk during the day. I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
all
Yeah,
the
Well,
time.
it was on the New York stations during the day.
right, but what I'm trying to say though is that back then you would get a 45 and they would have the edited version on one side and they would have the X-rated version on the other side.
X-rated.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, there was some people that were even worse Then pull talk. Let's not even talk about blowfly.
But Blowfly, you didn't hear no Blowfly on anybody's radio during the
No,
day.
I didn't. I didn't say. You didn't hear me say
What's
that.
the
You
name?
heard
What's the name of that? What's the name of what's the name of that song where they're playing the bongos and the woman just basically moans throughout the whole
it.
thing?
Yeah,
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Charakas. Damn. Oh,
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
oh,
Da-da-da-da.
oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Wow, that sounds really uncomfortable now.
And you know the funny part about it is if you listen to the whole that whole song, at first actually it's a woman moaning, but near the end it's a man moaning.
I don't
Thank
want to hear
you.
anybody moan.
Thank you, James, for bringing that to
Yeah,
our attention.
let me go back and listen to
Yeah,
that.
let's go back. Listen.
So
Let me go
so
back to my 7-year-old self and listen to that.
no,
Yeah.
if you listen all the way through to the end, at the end you get the man moaning.
Thank you.
Oi,
Yeah.
oi.
Okay. Thank you.
he
Thank
But
stayed.
you, James.
He
but
stayed all the way through. You got to give him credit. He saw it all the way through
Yeah,
to
all the
the
way
end.
through. Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, you have when it and see this is what I've been posting on my page for the month. Actually, I've posted a lot of times. Is that we don't connect to black people in classical music like we should.
No,
Well,
Okay.
you
not
know
like
what?
we should.
Well, like you have
But
someone like
but
Wynton Marsalis who played both classical and jazz, right?
yeah, he's
And Blanton
resigning
also.
now. He's resigning now from his spot at Lincoln Center.
Mm.
But he really shepherded a lot of the jazz and classical music. And I
Yeah,
think before we get off Sylvia, the thing is she does have feet of clay.
Mhm.
Pillow talk is kind of problematic. But the thing is, she brought, as Sonia said, she helped bring rap hip hop to the masses.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that. And not even Sylvia. I don't think she has feet of clay at all. It's not her that played her songs during prime time. That was somebody else. So she didn't do anything wrong. She was a grown up. She could sing that, but they just needed to play it at a time that it wasn't going to be in the.
and yeah, and see what a lot of people forget is that the Sugar Hill Gang, okay, they were getting a lot of that from from people like Grandmaster Flash.
Mhm.
Okay, we in fact we don't even give credit. If we're talking about hip hop, we need to give credit to Jimmy Spicer coming out of Brooklyn with Super Rhyme. Okay, we need to give him King Tim the Third.
But let's say this though: if you had a calendar, we talked about a calendar.
Mm-hmm.
In my hypothetical calendar, my
Mhm.
calendar thing. So you have limited space. Who do you choose?
Well, I would say that the couple of people that we did not mention, we're talking, are we only in music and
Music and
things like that?
entertainment and
Okay, well,
sports,
okay, let's
right?
see this.
Yeah.
Misty Copeland, of course, is a major,
Oh yes, I
major,
agree.
major.
I agree with that.
Right? Yeah.
That is a game changer. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, she really, I mean, how many young black girls donned their tights and their shoes, go out to the ballet and say, "I can do this"
And
because of
let's
Misty.
let's not forget Catherine Dunham too.
Of course, you got
You
Kathleen
know.
Dunham,
Um.
You only got 12 months.
and also we have Diane Carroll,
Yeah.
and we have Lola Falana.
Okay, so why Lola Falana? Why Lola?
Well, because Lola Falana, number one, when she went to Vegas, she earned, I think, she's like the top female earner in Vegas when she performed, making about $500,000 a week. You know, I mean, which is pretty monumental. But also, and the lore is that she won her shares in the Mets gambling, and that she was able to.
However, she got it. She got it. So
Yeah, they said you got for gambling. So I thought that was kind of cool. Though she's in Vegas gambling. Somebody put it on the table. She won.
somebody just probably gave Lola that. I don't know
Maybe,
whether she.
maybe.
Yeah, they probably
They
just.
said, but
Oh,
it's a
you also gotta remember that she did a lot of work in Europe too.
yes, she did. because
So
she actually
why would she
she
be?
could
Why would she
actually
be?
well, she was actually one of Sammy Davis Jr.'s proteges,
Yeah.
and
Why would she be on the pantheon or the on the black
I think
calendar?
because she shows how you can, even after somebody like Josephine Baker, but somebody who went international. She went to Italy. She performed movies, learned to speak Italian, and again, became an international sensation.
She was
You
a
know,
Renaissance woman. It seems
yeah,
like.
yeah. And so I think that was to tell people you can't, even if you are not getting what you want here, you have the ability to leave this place, go somewhere else, because they want to try to tell you that it's the only place that you can be. For men, it's a little different. For women, it's a lot harder. But for women to remember, yeah, you can go anywhere. You can do this. You know, learn a language, change your life. So I think, yeah, that she's a great symbol of that. And making her own money. Of course, she married, was it Butch Tavares, and I know there was some problems, in that relationship. But that's the rumor.
Yeah, yeah, but you know what? She didn't need
No,
him.
no,
She was I can understand why you would put her on your pantheon. I mean, she's a mover and a shaker.
yeah.
So yeah, I could see that. Diane Carroll too, because she's a stereotype buster.
Hmm.
Although I didn't like her in Claudine. You know,
I didn't like Claudine. I
I
liked
didn't.
her,
I
but I
like her.
did not like
Period. I didn't
Claudine.
like the movie Claude. I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't care for the movie
Mm.
Claudine.
And actually,
Um,
okay, let me correct myself. When I was a child and saw Claudine when it was in the theaters, I liked it. When I became an adult, I looked back at it and thought this is very fraught. You
Yeah,
know,
and a lot of it based on your perspective because
right?
I never liked it, but I love Diane Carroll
Hmm.
and I never watched any of those nighttime soap operas,
Yeah,
but I saw she looked fantastic to me in Dynasty. I
yeah.
just I
But the
thought she looked
music was
great.
so great.
She was
The
she
music was
was
great in Claudine, though. Man, that soundtrack was fantastic with Gladys Knight. My goodness, that thing was fantastic.
she was awesome in Dynasty. To watch her go toe to toe, and there was no real, okay, the first real shock was that Blake Carrington had a half sister. I don't think anybody even questioned the fact that she was black
Nobody did. Nobody did. They're
in the
basically like, here
show.
she is. Here she
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
the main thing was, how does Blake have a half sister? But when she got there, she just tore it up.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, she was fantastic. I mean, I never watched that garbage. But I
I
saw
did.
I didn't watch it because I thought all those nighttime Dynasty, Dallas, all of them were garbage. But I when I saw Diane Carroll on there, fantastic man. I would just see her for her scenes and then turn and watch something else or
She was the
turn the
first.
television
In
off.
fact, I remember, what show was it where Vanessa Williams played the black bitch, and
Oh,
she
I know what you're
said
talking
she was
about. I
just
can't
Or the
remember.
Vanessa Williams show.
no.
No, I remember the show. It was like a. It wasn't Betty La Fea. Was it? What was it?
I can't remember which name it was, but she said, "All I'm doing is channeling Diane Carroll."
Hmm.
Well, let me ask you this: you talk about the first black Miss U was it Miss USA,
Yeah, Miss America.
Miss America? Does Vanessa get on your pantheon of Black History Month?
I don't know because remember she had to drop her crown, and Suzette Charles actually became.
Oh gosh, she's
But that
nude.
wasn't
Remember that?
that wasn't her fault.
Oh gosh, she's nude. Remember
Well,
that?
it's
Yeah,
not her fault that what that she
it
did
wasn't
nude
her
pictures.
fault that they stripped the crown, because now everybody's like, "So what? She posed for pictures when she was younger."
I saw those pictures.
They
I
weren't
eventually
that
saw those
bad.
pictures. Nah,
Yeah,
there wasn't all that. I wasn't
we've
all that.
seen a lot less of the first lady and people.
Yeah, I mean, maybe for the time,
The
I
time,
did. I refused to look at them at the time that it happened.
yeah.
I just would not
Mhm.
look. And then, like 10 years later or something, I saw them, and then I said, "Oh, really? This is what they're doing with this lady."
Well, I think one of the
So,
problems is this: when they say that they catch you with something like this, you're supposed to be the paragon of virtue in the United States, and and she knew she had done it. That's the
well,
thing. She
it's
knew
like
she had done, yeah, and she
Marilyn
didn't get
Monroe
those,
said.
and she didn't get that information, that stuff back.
It's like Marilyn Monroe said, when she took that calendar picture, that what did you have on? Nothing but the radio. That's what she said. So
But
it's like
Marilyn
here you
Monroe is an actress. She is not supposed to be an icon that is symbolic of women in the United States.
And Penelope, do you think it also matters that they didn't want her to win that thing anyway?
I mean, what was their choice? If she didn't win, it would be Suzette Charles. So I mean, they had much of a choice. One of those black women was going to win. So that was
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And nobody mentions Suzette Charles anymore, right?
No, no. I mean, I don't even know what she's doing now.
You know, Vanessa Williams. She had an acting career. I mean, she was in
Yes.
shows and stuff.
Hmm.
But does she make the list?
I don't know. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. She
Did
was
she
the
move the
first, but she
needle?
didn't.
Did she change
I
society?
don't really think so. I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't know.
But
I mean, she knew it when she made other
she
black
moves
girls believe it was possible,
she
and
moved James' needle. James said it moved his needle. So
no, it's funny. I was just thinking about Monica Kennedy. She was a black burlesque queen,
hmm
and she was a game changer.
I did not. I don't know who that
how
is.
so?
So
How
if you would,
so? How's she a game changer?
yeah, tell us.
Uh, Before her, I don't think anybody was able to do what she could do with I think a whipped cream pie.
Come on, man. That's not a game changer. That's dessert.
Yeah, but nobody did dessert like she did though.
I don't understand what she did. I mean, is she? What was her? Her shtick.
She wore the whipped cream.
No, she he didn't wear it. She kind of enhanced the whipped cream pie for customers, so to speak.
Okay, now I don't know if that's a game changer, man. I don't know. I don't know about
From
that.
from what I understand, nobody did it before until she did it.
I said, well,
Anyway, moving
good.
right along.
Yeah, no joke. But again,
What?
there are a lot of like I said, performers who were, prior to us coming along, many performers who had their work co-opted, covered by Anglo performers and never really got their due, you know? And some of them, of course, should be, they but
Yeah, but
for
you talk about because you talk about Gypsy Rose Lee, right? They
hmm
made a movie from her.
hmm
She was very much into the mainstream, so to speak. But I never heard of the woman that James talking about.
me
I never
either.
heard of.
I mean, yeah, I've never heard of her. But I gotta say, even with me watching Gypsy when we were children, the thing they didn't tell us about her thing, her shtick, her actual uh, work that she did on stage, was that she's also like a comedian. I didn't know that before. They just make it seem like she's just going out there stripping, but she's actually a comedian. She's very burlesque, very vaudeville. And I thought that was really cool. And I guess that's another thing they don't want you to think, to know. But yeah, she's stripping and she's doing jokes while she's doing this stripping. And people see her and she's stripping and you're laughing because she's telling these crazy body jokes.
Yeah, I think that they didn't want to empower women that way.
Exactly.
You know, it's like you're a stripper and you're supposed to be. We're
Hmm.
gawking at you as men or
Right.
women or whatever, but you're not in control of the situation. You're not. You're not part of the. We're laughing at you. You're not.
With you.
You're not laughing with us. You know.
Yeah, right. And I thought that was really important when I first saw her, actually saw the performer, and thought, wow, that is really something. I thought it was really entertaining. But they never, they, kind of focus, especially in the Catholic Church, you're not allowed to watch it. But, we're supposed to be able to watch that film. That why would you not want us to see this film? It's so just regular. I guess,
Empowering women.
and
Empowering
also
women.
because what do you do when there's no men in your life, to run things? Well, you got to figure out, you got to do it yourself somehow, right?
So Vanessa Williams on your pantheon or not?
I don't know. I said I wasn't
She's
sure.
the first. She's the first African American.
I mean, there are a
For,
lot of people who are first at doing things, but they're not particularly the type of person that you'd want to promote.
That's some is her winning that something that you want young black girls to know?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, also the fact is that people can look at you and say, "I'm going to take away your crown," but that you can turn around and say, "Well, great, you took that away, but you can't take away my talent. You can't take away my drive, and my desire." I think that's a good thing.
I
That
mean,
there's no, this is it for you. That no, you make your life the way you do.
are beauty pageants really relevant anymore?
I mean, they still do them, so I
I
don't
mean,
know.
they used to be. I mean, it's like saying a heavyweight, a championship heavyweight boxing match is relevant anymore. The time changed. I mean, I remember actually, noticing or paying attention to the Miss USA contest until it became a non-entity. It's like you really used to watch the Winter Olympics because Debbie Thomas was there.
Yeah, yeah,
Who by the way, does Debbie Thomas reach your pantheon?
maybe, maybe, but I don't know. I have to think about that,
Why do you hesitate?
because she definitely did the skating. She was, doing her thing, but I don't think that beyond that she became an icon, for young black girls or black boys, to get out and
One of the
skate.
first black women orthopedic surgeons.
And then I saw her living out of a trailer on some show.
Yeah, yeah, so that too. But yeah, I don't. I mean, there are a lot of people who are the first of a certain thing like that,
Well,
and
what
she did it
about
because somebody else was first
So why
before
does
doing that.
she not get credit for being an athlete turned surgeon when Myron, what's his name, Roll,
I have no
who's
idea who
football
that?
that is.
player,
I have no idea who that
football,
is. So there you
football
go.
player turned football player turned surgeon gets all the accolade.
I
Who's
have no
that?
idea who that is at
Who?
all.
Who
Who's
to
who?
what?
I know his
Myron
name.
Roll was a I know him personally because he was an FSU football player when I was going to FSU. He's now a nurse. He was a NFL player and then became a pediatric neurosurgeon.
I have no idea who that
I
is.
don't know who
So
that
it's not.
is.
So again, that doesn't equate because I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
Myron. Who is that?
Myron Roll. Hold
What
on.
about Penelope? What about your godbrother who went to what is it, University of Michigan?
Michigan. Yeah, he's a
Michigan played
yes,
in
he's a
NFL
professional ball player and was a doctor. But that's what I'm saying. I guess that's why for me it's not a big deal
or
because I know
or
people
or,
do
or
that.
Minnesota's first black attorney general
Yeah,
who
I mean
played for the
they're
Minnesota Vikings.
yeah these are people who I mean once they stop playing sports they got to
Alan
get a
Page.
job. They got to get a job because they got to get a
You
job.
gotta get a job. Right?
I mean, I'm just
I mean,
saying,
attorney general is not any old job, right?
it
So,
isn't any old job, but I'm just saying it's like once they stop being sports people, it's not like that's the end of their life. That's only a very small part of their lives. It's
well,
where
yeah.
they
I mean, Debbie
go.
taught. I mean, what can you do after Olympic skating? I mean, you become part of the ice capades or something. I mean,
Yes,
it's
some people do.
They did that too. She did that too.
okay. Well, then the question
Some
is:
people do.
is she on your path? Here's a more problematic one. Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby. Does he belong on the pantheon or not? Or is he on the first page but not on the last? Is he halfway there? Is he on the I Spy days or the Huxtable days, or is he gone completely from the pantheon?
If if you're willing to add Monica Kennedy, I'll take Bill Cosby.
Again, we don't know who that is, so kind of rough. We have to check their get vet them, check their
Are they
credentials.
equal though?
I mean, Bill Cosby did a lot of stuff, positive things at the beginning of his career,
How about
but
feet
we
of
were not
clay?
aware. I mean, feet of clay is one thing, but we were not aware of the amount of people whose lives he probably destroyed. And yes, he did some really good stuff. He would not make my calendar because I could not ignore the other things that he did.
So I Spy and Cliff Huxtable is not enough.
Not to get on my calendar, no, no. That I'm definite about.
What about Richard Pryor?
Uh, with Richard Pryor, the thing he had again, feet of clay person. He's more self-destructive than destroying other people. So I would say Richard Pryor might make it. He definitely would make it before Bill Cosby.
And the impression is that Richard Pryor tried. He seemed confused. I mean, the Richard Pryor show was just just so it was so great. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it's on YouTube.
Hmm.
And his shows are groundbreaking. They're relevant today. He was so good.
Yeah,
And Paul Mooney, who wrote the show, was so good.
yeah, of course. Paul Mooney being Paul Mooney. Yeah,
Just so fantastic. So it's like, where do you put Richard? May, June, December? I don't know. But does he make it?
yeah. I think he would make mine because I think he tried to do so much. I mean, to come from the background that he came from and trying, even with that, to make a difference.
Hey,
I think. Hmm.
also he did stuff um below the radar too, because I think when who was it, Huey P. Newton?
Hmm.
I think when he was having his legal problems, Richard Pryor was paying his lawyer bills.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a big deal.
Here's a hard one. This is a singer, Penelope.
Hmm.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Not yet.
Okay. He was one of five.
Oh, that person? Oh no, definitely not.
He would not make your pantheon.
No, no. I'm sorry,
Talk about the five.
Lesters.
Talk about the five stair steps.
Yeah, there you
No,
go.
no, sir. I'm not.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't. Child molesters do not make my list.
The Osmond brothers. You talking about?
Would not be
There
on my
is
calendar.
there's information in the Epstein files that he might have been framed because he was trying to rescue kids from the island, and they smeared him with that child molestation
Oh
charge.
boy, here we go.
I don't think so.
Just a little bit of interesting reading in the Epstein files.
So, what do you think, Penelope? That change your mind, or
Not
is it,
really.
or is it, or is it like one of these Russian bots that they put into this? They put the stuff online, and then it's been invaded by overseas provocateurs to put false information.
Yeah, because
What do you think?
there's
If you,
new
if
testimony coming out, people swearing under oath that he literally took them off of the Epstein plane.
oh
And put him
boy,
on his own plane. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Here we go. Here we
So
go. Stop.
there's gonna be some really digging when the historians
I
years later
I
go through
bet
stuff.
I bet it is. But right now, if you ask me, it's it's just too much baggage for him to be on my
Yeah,
calendar.
Yep.
that shit would have came out a long time ago.
I don't
No,
think so. Because it being on the Epstein file, if Epstein or not, the people that were there on the island wouldn't they have said something earlier saying no,
no.
he
or,
the
or that he
victim.
saved, or that MJ
Yeah,
saved anybody from any plane.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that would not just be coming out in
yeah,
2026.
Hey, but
yeah,
save the
That no,
children. Hey,
yeah.
but
I don't
save
think
the
so.
no,
I
Bubbles,
know.
Bubbles, get him,
Nah,
Bubbles.
nah. I don't think I would. No. Mm-mm.
So he wouldn't make your list.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
What about someone like the comedians that had shows at the beginning, like someone like a Flip Wilson or people of that ilk that had their own comedic show. They were groundbreaking shows.
I think he's unsung.
Yeah.
I really think Flip Wilson is unsung.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
was a really great performer. He was a great performer.
And I
But I don't know. Like you say, what does he do beyond that?
What did he do
yeah.
beyond performing?
Yeah.
Did he move the needle any other than being on television, being like one of the first on TV?
The television, yeah, he moved the needle because I can remember back then that was must see TV with the Flip Wilson show.
Hmm.
But other than that, I can't say.
Yeah, so I don't know if I would say great, performer, but I can't go any further than that.
Yeah. What about Don Cornelius?
I think Soul Train was groundbreaking. I think he could have done a whole lot more with it. He could have done more, but that doesn't diminish the fact that it was a groundbreaking thing. You know, I think,
I think for me he makes it because
yeah,
we never seen anything like that when it
no,
first came
absolutely.
out, and we haven't seen anything like it since.
I mean, we had
We seen
American
a bunch of people.
Bandstand,
Yeah, we seen a
but
bunch of people try to imitate it, like
hmm
Solid Gold or American Bandstand or various
yeah,
other shows. But the Soul Train dance line
yeah, that is,
permeated
yeah, that was
every
iconic.
family reunion in the
Yeah,
country.
everybody do that. You never be a black person to do that. I mean, that was
Yeah, the Soul
iconic.
Train dance line is a
Absolutely.
real thing. So I think that having, I mean, Soul Train, people forget. David Bowie was on there. Elton John was on there.
Yeah, a lot of
He had
people.
a Don Cornelius for all his fumbling and bumbling and misdirections and poor choices. I think is
Yeah,
iconic.
yeah, he really did, create something that is for the ages. So yeah, I would say yeah.
Oh well, we I would have to definitely on my calendar because we forgot this genre. You had to put Miles on there. You had to put Charlie Parker on there. You had to put Nina Simone on there.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I
what do
think
you
those
have?
people, but I think those people go without saying. We've always
Yeah, but what do you put?
promoted
You put
those
them as
people.
musical icons, or what do
Well, I
you?
think Nina Simone, not only was she a musical icon, she was an activist.
Right,
Yeah.
She was, beyond music. I thought,
right,
so definitely Nina Simone.
right. And
See the
to me, someone like a Coltrane or even Louis Armstrong,
yeah
they just they just they spoke through their music,
yeah.
changed hearts and minds. To me, and maybe I'm overblowing it, but
No, you're not. You're not because if you listen to some early when he was when he had the Hot Five, Louis Armstrong. Oh man, he was the man back in the 30s, and then you gotta look at it also. In the late 50s, he got pissed because the United States wanted him to tour overseas, and he got pissed. He's like, "How y'all want me to represent the United States?
Hmm.
Touring when all the shady stuff that you're doing over here."
yeah,
So
Satchmo was special, and growing up and seeing him in movies and stuff, I thought he was exactly the opposite of what he actually was.
Agreed. Me too. I
well,
thought, I'm like, yeah, I just thought he was just like, oh my God, look at that guy all
I thought he was
snarling up
horrible.
at
I
him.
really did. I thought
Yeah,
smiling all the time
yeah,
in the
yeah,
yeah,
face of white people and all grinning and skinning and all that, as
yeah,
they
I did
call it.
too.
That's
but
not him. That's not him at
At
all.
all, at
now,
Opposite.
all.
now he
You
was
know?
the in fact the other day they had a event in St. Albans, Queens, because his house is out there and it's a historic site now.
Hmm.
If you go in there, you see his study where you have his tape deck where he used to record and all that there. You see, what it was by the 60s and the time that we were coming up, he was passe, and he was part of jazz that was, you know, time had moved on from his style of jazz,
Yeah,
and
his style of interacting with the so-called white culture.
yeah,
You can compare the way he interacted with the white society, and you can compare that to how Muhammad Ali interacted with that same society because they were alive at the same time,
yeah,
and so you would say that those were total polar opposites, but they
yeah.
weren't. They were just different.
They were
They
just
weren't.
exactly. They were just different. They just went about things differently, And unfortunately, with Louis Armstrong, he he didn't keep he didn't keep abreast of what was the changes in going on in jazz. Duke Ellington tried, okay, because if you listen to later piano works by Duke Ellington, they're very avant-garde.
Right. And
But
so before we run out of time, how about Ellington? Does he make your pantheon?
yeah, yeah,
Penelope, Sonia, yeah, does he make your pantheon? No.
He's the one that most people mention first, though.
As far as jazz is concerned.
Yeah, I like celebrating. James says the people that don't get all the press, but they did. They're there, and you.
But how did he
So
move
I don't do.
other than music? How did Duke move the needle?
I would have said in style. People
Mm.
trying to copying his style.
Well, in that sense, does Prince get on the calendar?
yeah, definitely,
You talk
definitely.
you talk about style. You talk about music. What else? I mean, outside of that entertainment
Well,
circle.
he did a lot of philanthropic stuff without putting his name out there on it. There's
Yeah,
now coming out. People are now re-examining some of their donation records and went, "Hey, wait a minute."
yeah, yeah. I think so. And so you have with somebody like a James Baldwin, W.E.B. Du Bois, where it'd be a crowded calendar, right? Somebody
Be a
has to go
very.
off.
I think you'd
Somebody
have
has
to
to
do
come
a
off.
calendar. Have to do a calendar for each
Well, see, being
major.
it, being a backsliding member of the Baha'i faith,
Hmm.
we're good because we have 19 months in the year.
Okay, okay. A normal calendar, though. A normal, a normal calendar that the rest of the world
So
goes by.
that's why you put somebody on each day. That way you get at least get 365 people on there
Yeah,
instead of
Hey,
then I think you
a
spread it out too
calendar
much.
month.
And then you wind up putting, and God bless Kobe Bryant. I'm not trying to saying this Kobe or I'm saying, but he shouldn't be on anybody's calendar.
I think you'd find if you did like each month had a theme. Okay, this time we're talking about sports, and this time we're talking
Even
about
in sports, I mean,
fiction.
Kobe wouldn't be on LeBron wouldn't be on the calendar.
No.
Kobe wouldn't be on the calendar. Jordan wouldn't be on the
I would put
calendar.
Kobe on the calendar because of all of the children's leagues that he sponsored and all of those other things to get get young people back and get people into the sport.
I don't. I think there's so
Because
many
not
reasons
that
not to put him on the calendar. I mean, there's so many things not to put him on. And I love LeBron, but I think a lot of LeBron stuff is performative.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't necessarily put him on the calendar. I may change my mind later, but I
As
wouldn't
it
necessarily.
stands.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Jim Brown would be on the calendar because I think Brown. Remember that movie that Regina King did? What was it? Five Nights in South
Yes.
Miami or something like
Uh-huh.
that. It was like Jim Brown, Cassius Clay, Lou Alcindor. Before people change their name. Forgot some other people were there, but Jim Brown was, before he became like almost adjacent to what's going on now to the person that's in the White House now. He was very demonstrative. So was Jabbar was very demonstrative as far as civil rights and the
yeah.
rights of Black people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you didn't have if it wasn't for Jim Brown, you might not have had Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Explain.
Okay, when Maurice and Verdine, when they moved out to California, to try and get a record deal, they had a singer in Earth, Wind, and Fire, Jessica Cleaves. Okay, she was formerly a singer with Friends of Distinction, It just so happened that her boyfriend, Jessica Cleve's boyfriend, was Jim Brown,
Wow, I didn't know that.
and through him they got a couple of club dates. Okay,
Wow.
in the Los Angeles area.
Well,
Um,
let me ask you this though: Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you put them on the calendar?
of
The
course,
group, the group. Now, take out your personal favoritism or your fandom. Take that off.
Hmm.
Take that off, and look at them as a group, a musical group. Do they get there? Do they get there?
I would say so because they were another group of game changers.
How did they change the game?
They changed the game and the fact that they were what you call a more sophisticated type of funk
Yeah.
as opposed to James Brown. And the lyrics in a lot of their songs were very uplifting,
Hmm.
because,
Sci-fi, man.
yeah,
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Maurice White said that he tries to reach people on three different levels: the love of yourself, the just partying part, and the spiritual part.
Yeah, I can see that. But not to miss James Brown. I'm not trying to diss James Brown either.
Hmm.
I mean, there's good parts of James Brown. The question is, does James Brown even make the pantheon of performers?
That's
Yeah, he's a rough one, isn't he?
yeah,
He's
that's a
he's
rough
rough
one.
because he got older. As some of us have said on this panel, as people get older, they get out of the rotation, and then they seem to become more conservative and more mean
Hmm.
spirited and
Yeah.
everything. And so when Brown was in the beginning, Brown was a complete game changer
Yes.
as far as performances, and nobody performed like that. Nobody
Hmm.
sang like that. Nobody hit a note who was so black. He was so
Hmm.
soft and sing it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
Yeah, man, that
Hmm.
was the thing.
Nobody who did
I
that.
remember as a kid singing that.
Oh my
Hmm.
God, who does that? Who did that? Nobody else.
Yeah,
So you
that
gotta
was
look at
a
James
changer.
Brown. You gotta look at James Brown. Not as crazy, the stuff he did at the
In in his
end.
career, yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
not the PCP era. No, no,
no,
Yeah.
driving on, driving by having all his tires shot out. We're not talking about that. But there was a James Brown that was,
oh shit.
boss. I mean, he did the soundtrack for Hell Up in Harlem, and
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
so-called. What he James Brown, man,
He
James
he
Brown.
was he was an important part of hip hop. Give it up, turn
Yeah,
it loose.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The big payback.
Oh my
I,
gosh, yeah.
I don't know karate, but I know
No
I know
Razor.
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 Who
Yes.
don't know that line? Who don't know
Yeah.
that line?
Oh God, my mother
That's
loved that. My mother
that's
loved that
always.
line.
And you know what? That's always a black retort to something. Somebody said, "Do you know this?" "Oh, I don't know this, but I
Yeah,
got
I know
something else
that.
for
Yeah, I
you."
know that. Yeah.
I don't know algebra, but I know how to
Yeah, yeah,
count. I know
exactly.
how to whoop your ass and count.
Okay.
That's how black people talk. You ask us something, we always got something else to say.
Yep.
You know where Halsey Street is? Oh, I don't know where Halsey Street is, but
All
I know
right.
we'll kick your
Okay.
ass. I will kick your ass
Okay.
up and down the
Okay.
I
street.
don't know who's on the Yankees, but I'm gonna beat your ass in this time.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know no baseball. I know kickball.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, y'all.
Yo, but
Oh,
James Brown got to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah. I mean, I said, yeah, but people in their end of life, end of their career stuff, they do some weird stuff.
They get mean. People get mean
I think they get angry
and
because
conservative and mean,
I think
nasty.
it's because they thought it would last forever, and they get angry with the people who, you know, the the people who were more
The new people.
free and
Yeah.
liberated people, because now they're not, they're champions anymore. So they go try to find somebody else because they are first and foremost narcissistic,
It's gonna be hell of a
and want to be
calendar
loved.
because you can't leave out Earth, Wind, and Fire,
No.
and you can't leave out
No.
James Brown either.
Hmm.
So it's maybe it's like a combo page for December or something. I don't know, but I think both belong. I think both belong.
like I
Yep.
said, make it a behind calendar. We got room.
You
Yeah,
ain't got
yeah.
no 19 months. I don't know. You got
It,
me messed up my year, man. 12 months
it,
in a year.
I think in
Yeah,
2
yeah.
weeks is the month of Alma is our next month.
You don't even know the months. What are you talking about behind months?
Okay. Well, look, guys, we're getting down to the last few minutes of the show. So, I wonder, is there anyone that you all had thought of that you didn't, bring up earlier that you want to bring up now?
Go-
Uh,
Gordon Parks.
Yeah.
William Grant still.
Ethel
Uh,
Waters.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I met her.
Did she like you?
No, she was. No,
Get
I
the hell
kid
out of
you.
here.
Nah, what it was my mother dragged us to a Billy Graham crusade
Oh
at
Ew.
no.
of all
Oh
places Shea
no.
Stadium, and she sang for Billy Graham. Hot day, she went under the stage to cool off, and us kids went to meet her, and I
Mhm.
couldn't understand a word the lady was saying. Oh, I know she
Wow.
kept telling us to be good.
Be good.
Oh, yeah, y'all be good now.
All right. How about
Okay.
Shirley
Jesse.
Shirley Chisholm?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe.
What's our topic next week so I can decide which ones I want to clearly let out?
I think we had talked about academics and
Okay.
education.
The educators.
Yeah.
Who
Then
gets on the pantheon? Who
we'll
gets on the
talk about
board?
that next week.
Mhm. Yeah, we'll do that next week. All right. Well, we're
Uh,
getting down to the last 4 minutes of the show. Is there anybody that you all think should be listed, or people that people always list and we think should never be listed?
Uh, I'll just mention her real quick for next week. Nora Holt, composer and teacher.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you for that wonderful, what do you call
I
it?
don't know who that
Review.
is. I
You'll
don't know
tell
who
us
that
next
is.
week.
Are you gonna tell us next week? Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
All right.
We're not going to the Baha'i calendar because we have one person dedicated to the Baha'i calendar, and he doesn't even remember the months.
And
So
I just told you next month is Alma.
no, you said you think it is. So we're gonna just keep with
Well,
the
what do you
calendar.
expect? We got so many months. What do you want?
All right, y'all. Well,
I
thank
gotta check
good
you.
my
night,
phone.
Yes, we'll
sweetheart.
all look up the Baha'i Faith calendar and be ready for next week. We talk about our educators and academics. So, with that being said, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Take care of yourselves with your crazy weather because we've got it too. We'll be back next week. And good day.
Bye.
Bye.